Okay, we're back. And that took a little while to get all the files going. And this is where it stopped. Once to install the Grub bootloader and master boot record, you want to say yes. Don't want to enter device manually. Go down one, hit enter. This is the same bootloader that you would load if you were loading it onto your machine physically. Um, I don't recommend physically loading Kali onto your machine as your only operating system. It's not really designed for everyday use. You don't want to be, streaming and emailing and whatever else you depend on. Now, this has already detected that we have VirtualBox installed because it says it's installing the guest editions dynamic files. And I'm going to be surprised if this works and goes full screen on the first shot, but that's okay. They have improved this a little bit over the years. And once again, we're sitting here watching the bars go by. Come on, you could do it. I know you can. I'll make things move around while we're waiting. That makes it go faster. If you go this way, it goes slower. And no, that's not true. We're getting close. Maybe I should get some sound effects like a crowd in a football field cheering, go, go, go. All right. Good thing I gave this a lot of RAM. Yes. Okay, installation complete, time to boot. So we're just going to hit enter to continue. Virtual machine is acting like it's a computer. You can hit enter if you want that to go quicker. And what I saw go by looked like the latest kernel. So we may not get to see that update. Okay, so you're going to type in the username you made and the password you gave it. And log in. This VBox client failed doesn't mean a whole lot. Might be a bug. And here's the background they showed. Let's see if the guest editions, oh my goodness, guest editions installed themselves. But we'll go through that step anyway, just in case. But it's allowing me to adjust the window automatically. Now you should be able to see that much better. I'm not going to go full screen because there's other things I want to get to. Okay, like you could change this background, this pixelated thing. I don't really care for that much. Um, I forget whether it's in properties or not. Nope, wrong again. I had a 50-50 shot, right? And I like the smoother look, so I'm going to change that. So that's under desktop, under background. All right, that's a little cleaner looking. So that's your basic install. Now you've got to do other things. Just and you're going to be working in the terminal a lot. And this is your terminal as it opens. You are not in a root terminal. So you can't edit, download, or do any system files in there. You can look up things like see what version. Oh, it's not even going to let me spell it right first. So it's showing me that I'm at 5.6 Kali 2 AMD 64, which I believe is the latest kernel as of today, and it's May 2020. See, now there's a system command. I just wanted to look at the IP address of this system. There's other things I'm going to look at. Uh, I'm going to have to edit some files. I won't be able to do that from here. So to get to a root terminal, you just do su sudo. It's going to prompt for a password. It's going to be the same password you use to log in with. Oh, wait a minute. Backwards. sudo su. Now, first time you're going to get this. So with great power comes great responsibility. And I typed that wrong. You notice the password doesn't show up when you type. So you're typing in the blind, and that's just the way it works. So people can't look over your shoulder. Okay, now you see that this changed to root. Now if I do ifconfig -a, it shows me the IP address that my router gave me, it shows me my subnet mask, the broadcast address of the network. If I wanted to know that my gateway was, I would do, and there's my gateway out. Okay, these are all internal private IP addresses, so it doesn't matter if anybody sees this. They can't do anything with it anyway. They'd have, unless they were in my house, in which case I'd probably have bigger problems. Clear the screen so we can see better. Now we're going to edit some files. So we're going to start with change directory, etc, and we're going to go to network manager. Those spaces. This is case sensitive. So where I have the CD, there's a space and then a slash. If you don't do that, if you do it because you think you're in Windows, it's going to fail. And the slashes go the other way in Linux. So it changes to that directory. If I want to see what files are in there, I do ls. And we want to edit the network manager config file. So we're going to use Nano. It's an easy editor to work with. And that's if you don't pick a file. Okay, that's a fresh file. If you were to go to a file that you were looking for and it came up blank, it's probably because you're in the wrong directory. All right, so now I'm going to go nano NetworkManager.conf, edit, and you see that we have something in there. If you don't have something in there, you're in the wrong directory probably. We're going to take this I'm using the arrow keys for this to go up and down. I'm going to change false to true. Then I'm going to hit the control key and the letter O to save it. And if it tells you can't save it, you're not in a root terminal. And then control X to close it. All right, so that's done. Clear the screen. Now you want to check your sources.list to make sure that that's set up correctly. So we're going to go back one, cd ... will take you back one. It's also in the etc directory, cd apt. You don't need a slash for this. And then ls, see the files. And we want to edit sources.list. So nano sources.list. Boom. There's a lot of garbage in there. And in the past, even though the number sign means it's remarked out and don't pay any attention to it. Sometimes, because it's not clean, you'll see errors when you're updating, which is really annoying. So let's arrow down to the D, and I'm going to hit backspace. And you see how the color changed? Because it's now in the remarked mode. That's why you don't want to change the color of your terminal either, because there are certain things that tell you where you are and what kind of errors you're getting. Come on, you could do it. It's probably a quicker way to do it. I don't know what it is. Okay, so the color's back, and that's your first source. Now, this second source, you want to highlight the D, 2 spaces back, and it's going to turn colorful for you. Okay. Now, all this other garbage, let's get rid of that. So much fun. I wish they would just do this by default, but they don't. Okay, be careful here. You don't want to erase that. If you somehow mess it up, you can always look up the repositories either in the PDF that I put out or the documentation at Cali's site. Okay, so that's clean now. So Control O to save, hit enter, Control X to exit. So now we got the repositories correct. And all of this has to be done from a root terminal. And clear the screen. Okay, this is where we do updates. So the first updates you want to try are apt-get update and twice apt, because I want it to do both, get upgrade and a -y because I don't want to have to answer anything. I just want it to go. If you don't hit the -y, it's going to ask you if you really want to do that. All right, enter. And it's going to go out to the repositories. And it's going to compare what's on my machine. Now, if this is your first time doing it, or if I had an older ISO, this would take a while. But apparently, they just put a brand new ISO up there today, so there's nothing there. This thing updates more than Windows does. So as you're watching the video and it doesn't go as quick and it does a whole lot more stuff, don't panic, because this is the fastest I've ever seen that happen. The other thing you want to do is apt-get upgrade. And this is going to go quick too, probably. See? So apparently the ISO that I downloaded today is their latest and greatest, and there's been nothing new in the last 4 hours. Which is sad because you're not going to get to see how long it actually takes. And if you have a slow connection, it can be miserable. So what I'm going to see if I can get away with here is I have the old GNOME version where you log in as root. And I'm going to start a second virtual machine and hope it doesn't blow up on me. If you have the RAM, you can run more than one virtual machine. Okay, so the login looks the same. And this is at 5.6.1, not 5.6.2. So I know that this one's not up to date. Because I know anybody that sees that update go that fast and that quickly, and then theirs starts updating because it's a week or two after I did this video, you're going to think something's wrong, and nothing's wrong. Come on. Now, the GNOME version looks a lot different, and I installed this ages ago, so I have to log in as root. My password. It's It's thinking. And this is the GNOME version, so it looks a little different than what we're working on right now. And apparently Guest Editions is thinking about resizing it, and we got it resized. Here's my terminal. And I'm already at root, so I can do anything I need for systems files. So let's see what happens when we do the commands I did a minute ago. App-get minus y. Boom. It's again going out to the same repositories. And so if you install this a few months, get out of there. I don't need email right now. After I made this video, you're going to see this is all normal. It's going to check packages. And now you see that it's got packages for me to install. So first it's going to read what I'm missing or what needs to be replaced. And when that's done, it's going to compare logs to see what's what. And then it's going to start installing. So it's unpacking all the stuff it needed to get. Which is good. You don't have to go searching for everything. Okay, so while that's running, I'll minimize that. Go back to our installation. I'm going to clear the screen. All I have to do is learn to type. All right. The next thing we want to do is install Linux headers. And you don't want to have to type all this. So first thing we're going to do is apt-cache search Linux headers pipe more. And the reason I'm doing that is so that what I'm going to get in copy, I don't want it to go flying by and then I have to scroll up and down. I want it at the top of my screen. Okay, and there's the Linux headers. This is also a good hint as to what version your kernel should be at. So I'm going to copy this, okay, and the copy command is not Control-C like Windows. When you're in the terminal, I mean it is if you're not in the terminal. When you're in the terminal, it's Control-Shift-C, all right? That'll make a copy of that. Control-C out of that, clear the screen so you can see. I'm going to do apt-get install, and then paste is Control-Shift-V, and then you don't have to type all that. And it updated it already. Like I said, this must be fresh out of the box. Let's see what our other version is doing. And you can see that took a while. Now, I'm going to clear the screen on the old one. And uname -R. You see that says 5.6 Kali 1? That's an older kernel. Now, if I do apt-cache headers pipe more, here it is, Kali 2. That tells me my kernel's out of date also. That was what I meant by the hint. So clear. So what you want to do here is apt-get dist-upgrade. Okay, and it says, do you want to continue? Yes. This is going to download the new kernel and install it. You will not see the new kernel with uname-r until you reboot. So we're going to let that run. Okay, so we already have the latest Linux headers. That means that the DKMS is also probably up to date, but let's try it anyway. I need to grab a folder so that I type this right. And open that. Now I put a link in the first video to this document, but I change this on a regular basis. So if you're in the Udemy class, you want to look in the student section every now and then for, let's see if I can get this out of my way. All right, because you don't need to see this. And that. Go back to this. Okay, we did the Linux headers. We did the sources.list. And so now, if you got that up to date before you do the new kernel or whatever, if there was a new one, you would do apt -get install -y dkms linux-headers dash $, bracket UNAME -R bracket. If this fails, either you don't have the correct version of headers installed. Now, like I said, this is a fresh ISO, so it says it's already the newest version. But again, later on, when this video is no longer the newest version, you will see things go by. So we'll go back to the old one just to see what's going on here. Okay, if while you're installing, you get one of these informational screens and it just stops at a colon, it's giving you a chance to read it. If you don't want to read it, you just hit the letter Q to quit and it goes back to updating. And again, months from now, you may see that when you do the upgrade. Also, when you're in a virtual machine, we've got this pretty well just set up and ready to go to start doing whatever we need to do. But when you do a lot of updates or you get a kernel update or the dist upgrade finishes and you're done with that, what you really should do, now this is your power button. Remember, this thinks it's its own machine. It doesn't really know it's not on its own hardware. Do not make the mistake of closing the window to shut down the virtual machine. That's like taking your favorite system and just pulling the power and watching it crash. And you know how Windows loves when you pull the power and crash it. Same thing here. You'd be crashing it. You might corrupt it. You might not get back from it. There are some things you can do that you might get back from it, but the best practice is you can restart the machine here, shut it down here, switch user if you have another user. If it's on an actual hardware, you could suspend it. You could just log out because you walked away from it. I'm going to cancel it for a moment. Also, if you need to cut and paste, and this is not always the safest thing to do, but if you need to cut and paste between your virtual machine and your Windows machine, under excuse me, devices, shared clipboard, and you could make it bi-directional. So you can copy something from in here and paste it back to the Windows desktop, or something from the Windows desktop and paste it back into the Kali machine. The other thing you want to check before you try to install guest editions is sometimes the installation ISO doesn't get dismounted. And so when you try to insert the guest edition CD, if you had a physical CD player or DVD or Blu-ray and you try to put two discs in once, you know what happens. It just jams it up, right? So before you start that, where it says insert guest editions here, before you do that, go to optical drives and remove virtual disk if it's lit up, because it means that the install didn't remove the ISO from it. Okay. And then you could pop up and it'll say, do you want to force a dismount? And you say yes. So I'm going to install the guest edition CD, and the guest edition CD pops up right down here. Now, people have had problems with this, so we're going to try to work through that. So CD/media/CD-ROM 0. Boom, we're in the directory. I do an ls and you don't see anything, right? Weird. It didn't used to do that. You used to see the files instantly. What changed, I'm not sure. You also used to get a pop-up saying you can't install that from here. There's a couple of things you can do. And the simplest one, if you don't want to deal with command line, is you can open this up, go to your CD, and you see the files, right? Move that up. Okay. You can copy this. Now, why this works, I'm not sure, but you can just take that and do a Control-C, and then you go back to your terminal and go Control-Shift-V. Well, no, don't do that. Do CD, Control-Shift-V, boom, and there's the files. You could also take that file and cut and paste it to your desktop that you need, and the file that you need is, you want to copy VV, capital VV, it's case sensitive, box, capital L, and if you hit the tab key, it'll fill it in for you. And I want to copy it to my home directory, which is home / my name, or whatever login name you gave it, / desktop. And it is a capital D, case sensitive again. And you'll see it appears on my desktop, right? Okay. So we need to get back to my desktop. So I go CD/home / my username / desktop. And I do an ls. Oh, let me clear the screen first. I do an ls, and there's the file I need. Now, to execute this file in Linux, you do a / and the name of the file, assuming it has executable rights. Okay, so that's it right there. This is going to install the guest editions that came with VirtualBox, not the one that Kali Linux picked. And hit enter. And it says something's on there. Do you want to do that? We're just going to say yes. It's not going to hurt anything. And it's going to copy installers and modules and fun stuff like that. Meanwhile, back at the older version, okay, that finished. And you see it still says 5.6 Kali. And this is always, as you get updates, this number is going to increase. Either the 5.6 will turn to 5.7, or in this case, it's going to go 5.6.0 Kali 2. So you got to watch for the version number changes. Again, it's not going to show the update yet because I didn't reboot this machine yet. So I'm going to close that. All right, power this off, power off, restart. And it says Kali 2 now. So when we go to uname -r in this version, it should have the new kernel. All right, let's go back here. This finally finished. You got to read. That's the thing about Linux. You got to read. Modules will not be replaced until the system is restarted. Okay, so if you don't have full screen, you haven't restarted the system yet. So we're going to do the same thing here. And we're just going to click restart. Boom. And we'll go back to the old one. And that's restarting. The other one's restarting. Everybody's restarting. It's a fresh start. Come on. All right. I'm logged in as a privileged user. I know. I logged in as root. This is the old version, remember? Okay. Now if I do uname -r, maybe if I spelled that right, it would help. Can't do uname -r. And you see it's now Kali 2. It's still in the 5. So this could go to 5.7 Kali 1, so don't think it went backwards on you. Make sure you're looking at the whole thing, not just part of it. All right. Clear the screen. Let's see if guest editions are still working on this one. Yep. Okay. So we're going to shut down the old machine for now. And remember, this is the only way to shut down and reboot. Don't do it from the window. Power off. Power off. Now it's shut down correctly. Okay, here's the new one. And you see we're at full screen, right? Let's see if it stays that way. And even though I put the VirtualBox client in there, it's having some, this is new. This has got to be a bug. Okay, so go away. Go away. Go to the terminal. Let's see if I can do that. Now this is, again, a regular terminal. So you can run things like if I want to launch Firefox browser, boom. There's my Firefox browser, but I don't want that right now. I just wanted to show you can do that. You can also go look for it. You can add it to your favorites. You can add it to, and this little icon is where you get all your different apps and things that you can run from here. Some things you only run from the terminal. You have your usual applications, internet, graphics, settings. This is where you're going to go for your network settings, advanced network configuration, things like that. If you don't want to hunt around for it, that little search bar, you go Firefox, and there it is. You didn't even complete the word, and yet I'm here. Okay, so there's the browser again. Yeah, you could install the Linux version of TeamViewer on here or something like that if you needed to help somebody else or they needed to jump on your machine and help you. So all your apps are in here. All right, clear the screen. And that is your basic setup. You're ready to start doing other things. Hope that helps. Good luck. And have fun.